What's going on, guys? So I have an interesting project today. You all probably have seen the several videos I've done on the Furrion Chill Cube Inverter 18,000 BTU air conditioner. Some of the challenges I have with it, one of those is the fact that it doesn't control the thermostat for the furnace on it. And what I mean by that is that once you remove the unit that was in here, I no longer had controls of the furnace to turn it on or off, so I had to put a heat only thermostat on, which is no problem at all. That was a 5-minute install, super easy to do. Now I can control the furnace. The problem I am going to try to accomplish today, or tackle today, is getting this air conditioning wired up the way this one used to be. So this Surveyor has two air conditioning units in it. This is a standard 15,000 BTU Furrion Chill air conditioner, not the inverter, not the super quiet AC that you can probably barely hear over there. This is a standard unit. And this one originally was wired for thermostat controls that were tied into this unit. So they would both turn on at the same time unless I turned the breaker off to keep this one from coming on. That's not initially how I wanted it wired. I wanted this one to have manual controls. So they sent me the panel, I put the manual controls up, and everything seems to be working really well. So why am I doing this? Hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so in a previous video I mentioned the fact that if I put this unit on auto, basically the same type of setting that I might put a normal air conditioner on, whenever it reaches temperature, there's no way to get this thing to completely shut down like a traditional air conditioner in an RV, unless you have manual controls, right? If you have manual controls, you have to turn it off manually. But if you have a thermostat on most RVs, you can simply set it for auto, turn the fan on auto, and then whenever you hit temperature, everything shuts down. Nothing's running anymore. It's completely dead quiet on the inside. It's dead quiet outside. Nothing's going on until the thermostat triggers the AC to turn back on, and then everything starts cooling again. But then when it reaches temperature, everything shuts off. Which out here, that's how I prefer it. That's how I kind of control the temperature and the humidity inside of the RVs. I set them for like 83 degrees, and they turn on whenever it gets past that point. They cool down and basically dehumidify the unit to some degree, and then they shut off whenever they hit that 83 degree mark again, or they drop below 83. And I can't do that right now without having this unit run all the time. So I'm going to take the components that I removed from the Furrion Chill that was up here, including the thermostat, which is right there, and I'm going to install them on this unit up front. That way I can have this unit come on and shut off whenever it reaches temperature or it gets too hot. So I can use this one for that type of control. I'm going to essentially have to reverse wire everything that I had though. So when I wired this manual control in with the levers, which I've already removed, I had to basically remove all the connections to the thermostat, which are right here, and the 12-volt connections right here, which essentially pass through to control the thermostat. So I've gotten the cover off of it. I have the parts here. This is the piece that I'll be putting in its place. I'm not going to be using the furnace wires, so I kind of bundled those off, and I'm probably just going to cap those off. But I will definitely be using the 110 wires over here, and I will definitely be using the thermostat wires over here. And my goal is to put the thermostat actually right here. Now the ducting pulls return air in here and it pushes it out here, but this should be suitable, especially if I set it correctly, to be able to place it right around this area and give me the ability to, again, control this thing coming on and off completely from the thermostat that used to be in here. So that's the goal. Okay, real quick, just want to give you an update. I have wired my 110 connections, so I have those connections all matched up, and these are all labeled very nicely and they match up. Next, we're going to connect our 12 volt. Okay, so I have everything wired up. I have the thermostat where it needs to go. You know, one thing I didn't do, and I probably should have really done, is measure to make sure that I'm going to have the space to put the cover back on. If not, we'll work around that problem when we get there, but we have the thermostat wired back up. Basically what you do is you just match the wires right here that come off of the control box to the little plugs on the back here, because they're all labeled and they match. So the wire that you have running through here, there's probably some, you know, standardized form of what colors you use, but I wasn't really going by that. I just made sure the colors that matched on this side were actually the same ones that were wired up previously. and then I wired it to the back here, and I simply matched the labels on the wires to the labels on the back of the actual thermostat. We have it all set up. I went ahead and turned the breaker back on. The lights are coming on the thermostat when I press a button. I'm going to go ahead and power it back on. It is set for cool. And this fan speed is set for automatic. So we've had the other AC running for a while, so I'm going to drop this one down to 77 and see if it kicks on. I've heard a noise. Hasn't kicked on yet. I hope I have everything wired up properly. Pretty sure I do. Oh, that's the problem right there. I always forget something. There we go. I connected the main harness. Now we'll give this another go. See what happens. Okay, it is set for cool. 76 degrees. Waiting to hear a click. And hopefully everything works the way it's supposed to. Probably a little delay at this point because I had to turn it off real quick so I could connect this main harness right here. There we go. High fan, automatic, low fan. Perfect. I'm going to put that on automatic. Probably shut off, and then the AC should kick on here in a second. But like I said, there's usually a delay. It doesn't want to just kick the AC back on right after you turn it off, so we're just waiting for that delay to go by. And once it kicks on, we should hear it. There we go. It is working the way it's supposed to, and you can tell there's a lot of air blowing out right now because it's knocking around the shade over here. Put on a low fan speed. Very, very cool air coming out. Okay, let's get this thing reassembled again. I'll mount the thermostat so we can wrap this project up. Okay, so we are all done. Everything is back in place. Doesn't look that bad at all, to be honest with you. It's a little bit to this side, but I'm totally fine with that. But turned off the inverter AC over there. We're going to power this one on. And it's kicking right in. Drop it down to 80 degrees. You don't feel any airflow in this area, which is really nice. So air is being sucked in right here, and probably some might be going past it, but air coming out of here is nice and cool. What I want to do though is I want to check to see if, oh, there we go. It actually already hit temperature. I think I have it set for the 80s right now. 79 degrees, and it's almost 80 in here anyway, so let's just see 81, and the whole thing should completely shut off here in a second. What do I have the fan set on? Oh, the fan is not set on auto. There, now it's on auto. And now the fan is completely off. That is exactly what I wanted it to do. And if I set this thing for like 78 degrees, it's on cool, it's on auto. It should kick on here in a little bit, but again, there is a little bit of a delay because it doesn't just turn the AC right back on after powering off. It's kind of a cool place to put it if you think about it, because when the bed's down, if I need to adjust the AC, I can simply reach up there and adjust it. I don't have to crawl out of bed and go to the other end. Now, ideally, it would have been nice to have that maybe placed over here or somewhere next to the bed, but I didn't have the ability to run the wire all the way through without running conduit. And I think placing it up there should work just fine. In essence, it's very similar to like a window unit with a thermostat on it now, because the controls are right next to it, and it's spaced far enough away from the air coming out that that shouldn't impact it at all either. But in a little bit here, the thing should kick back on all on its own. So I do not have to worry about having that thing run all the time to cool the unit down and dehumidify it, because that's really the whole goal here. I have a small dehumidifier right here, but as summertime quickly approaches, it gets very, very, very hot inside of here, and the heat can kind of overwhelm everything. It can make adhesives come loose, it can make different things start to fail, and the more you can control that environment, the longer everything's going to last. So having that up there on the wall is certainly one means to help control it. And now that that AC is set for automatic, when it starts getting hot in here, it should turn on all by itself and then shut off all by itself, so I don't have unnecessary amount of power usage because I'm running something like that all the time. But mainly it comes down to wear and tear. The amount of wear and tear that unit would be going under if it's running 24/7 all day long, when I don't need that to happen. So this will kick on when it gets hot, it'll turn off when it gets cool, and it will dehumidify when it's on. Very cool. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again very soon.